Hey, my name is Hugh Fan, and I'm a 16-year-old Australian high schooler slash entrepreneur slash kind of just dreamer, I guess. And I'm just trying to collect a bunch of knowledge and skills so I can do as many things and have as many opportunities to do epic stuff when I'm older and just live life at a high caliber, I guess. And in this video, I'm going to be just kind of talking through my robotics journey and the lessons and things that I've learned. And hopefully, maybe if you're a kind of young robotics, aspiring competitive robotics competitor, then you can gain some insight from this video. Or if you just want to see my ideas and vibe with kind of how my brain works and see if it's just interested in my ideas, then I guess you can listen along. But basically, these are the main tips and tricks that I've learned to basically just dominate robotics competitions. So I formed Team Silverback at the start of year 9, and it was a team of 4 people. And then with those 4 people, it started off with kind of just me doing everything, and then they didn't really contribute much. And then I came 3rd in the state competition and like 10th in the national competition. I don't even know what I got in the national competition. I didn't get any notable number. And then after those comps, I was like, damn, let's reset this team and pick people intentionally. And so I kind of selectively picked people one at a time, asked them, hey, do you want to join my robotics team? Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you know, we're on track, we're gonna probably do well. And they were kind of on with it. I made it clear what kind of commitment they should be having, so they weren't kind of surprised when I asked for, hey, you gotta sleep over at my house for fucking a week in a row, and you're not gonna have much sleep actually, and you're just gonna work your ass off. They were aware of kind of the challenges, and they were willing to commit. And they were also just my close friends, so we got along as friends. It was four dudes, just all mates. And this is and then in that year, so this is year 9, and then year 10 with this new team, we got 1st in state with a total point ratio of 73-3. So we scored 73 points, and then everyone else accumulated scored 3 points against us. So we destroyed state. 2nd in nationals, 2nd in Asia Pacific. So in 1 year, we went from we just formed to 2nd in Asia Pacific, which is kind of crazy. That's an amazing growth for any robotics team. I think that's the greatest growth that I've ever seen in a team, because most kids, they just start with they're young because it's a private school, and then they just get babied into it, and then they get all the mentors and set up for them. But basically, yeah, I wrote some notes down here, so I'm just gonna read them up. So step 1, not step 1, but basically robotics, competitive robotics is a game of how much work you can do in as little time as possible. Work is just force times distance, which translating into competitive robotics term is your force times distance is how much effort you put in, which is how much you learn, times by the time that you put that in, right? So basically it's basically focus times time, and the more focused you are, the better your learnings will be, and the better your learnings will be, the more effective your focus and time will be, basically. So the more you do robotics, the better you get at robotics, and the better you get at robotics, the more you can do, and it's basically a positive feedback loop. So the way to fucking feed that feedback loop as fast as possible is to do more things, so you learn more, so you perform better. So basically, move fast and iterate really quickly, because competitive robotics it's kind of, you don't have much time, and it gets kind of crazy. But anyways, number 1 is have a home base. So if your school doesn't have a kind of a place where you guys can freely work at. So my school, there's robotics club for 1 hour on a Thursday. 1 hour a week, can you really build anything of substance with 1 hour a week? No, of course you can't. Like, you got to be putting 20 hours minimum, right, to do anything of like substance. So you got to have one dude. If you don't have access to like a good club, you got to have one dude set up, or even like a makerspace or something, but have a home base where that's where your team resides, or not resides, like lives, but like that's where your team goes and works. For my robotics team, it was this lab right here. I kind of got the whole setup here. But yeah, like, you got your field here, you got all your tools here, you got all your robotics here, and basically it's a space that just accommodates everyone. And because you have only one space and you don't have to move around, it maximizes productivity, because when you switch between environments, you kind of lose a little brain power, because you have to find out where you basically have to switch environments. New environment, new stimulus means your brain has to be focused on this new environment instead of being focused on the problem at hand, which is coding my PID for my robot or something, you know? But yeah, and it was, yeah. You know, I keep trying to say things to make it seem like really simple to explain, but I realize that, like, the viewer who's watching me, you're not stupid, so I don't have to dumb things down. Number 2 is have a clear team lead. So the team lead, it needs a structure. You can't just have 4 boys just running around trying to do their own things. Basically, the robotics is about how fast you can move, and a factor in how fast you can move is how fast you can make decisions. And when you have a team lead, then decisions just get done faster, because there's less back and forth, because the team lead ultimately just makes a decision. Of course, don't be a dictator. Don't like try and boss anyone around, and just be like more of the captain of the ship. You know, you just trying to steer it, but you still got to rely on the rest of the team. You can't do it by yourself, of course. So naturally, the team lead should be the person who's kind of the most well-rounded or like strongest team member, like someone who understands all aspects of the robot. In my team, it was me, because I kind of understood the 3D modeling, the electrical, the software, a bit of the vision. But yeah, and a way to find a team lead is that basically ask the question: if everyone on that team had the same values, work ethic, and attitude as the person who you want to make team lead, then would your team prosper, or would it like decline? And if it's prosper, then you should probably put that person as your team lead, because the person who's like kind of in charge and makes the decisions and is the boss, like, they have a really big influence on the kind of culture of the team. So you want to put your strongest member, basically strongest member, but not a dickhead and works with people well. That's like recipe for like great team leader. But yeah, basically, riffing on about structure more, have clearly defined roles. So different members should have different responsibilities. Different members are different people, and different people have different strengths and weaknesses. So of course they need to have different roles and different responsibilities. Also, assigning people a direct responsibility makes them responsible, makes them feel a sense of ownership over the project, therefore making them work harder and just have more output, you know, because they're kind of more linked to the project. This is my responsibility to get this part working, so I got to get this part working, or else the whole team's going to fail. It's going to be my fault. So creating that sense of urgency through responsibility is really important, and that also requires trust from the rest of the team. So, you know, it builds trust. But yeah, different members need to specialize into their roles, because it also compounds over time. Like, if you have 4 jack of all trades, it's gonna be a lot worse of a team than having one guy for mechanical, one guy for electrical, one guy for software, like low-level software integration, like C++ type stuff, and then one guy for like vision, machine learning, like Python stuff, right? That's cracked. Those 4 people are cracked versus just 4 whole like mechatronics students. Like, that not really gonna function or produce as good as an output as the 4 specializers. Because once you specialize in a field, you obviously are super cracked, and you can just rely on all other people's strengths and then just build a really good robot. But yeah, and then number 4 is get a mentor. So you kind of gotta have a mentor, because mentor is 10x learnings, because they kind of can see one more step in front of where you're going, so they can just kind of tell you, hey, like, I think this is kind of a bad idea. You should try it and see how it goes, but I think this is not the greatest idea, or something. Or like, oh, I would be careful about wiring this one next to this one, because the electromagnetic radiation field will interrupt with your communication. And then they can kind of just they can basically make your learnings 10x, therefore making you move 10x as fast. Therefore, your output is going to be 10x. So mentor is 10x, and it's really, really important to get a mentor in your robotics. And to my mentors, I'm very grateful for you, and thank you. But yeah, and then, fifth one is just more hours. So this one's really simple, but the actual execution of this is pretty hard. More hours, well, how do I get more hours? Make it fun, okay? The members of the team, they're not going to go out of their way, travel all the way to your home base and then work on your robot until midnight, then go home and then be sleep deprived if they're not having fun. Like, it's an extracurricular thing, right? They're doing this out of their own time. It's gotta be fun, or else they're gonna just not do it, right? Because they don't need to do it. So make it fun. Don't be a dickhead, and just kind of enjoy the journey. That sounds so corny now that I said it out loud, but it's like, you just gotta enjoy the journey. Like, me and my team, we used to get this Chinese takeaway all the time, and we kind of made a tier list of everything we bought, and we kind of bought a bunch of stuff from there. Always a new dish, always another variety, and that made things really fun. That was one of the fun parts, And then we had like a playlist. We'd always have music going, and then we'd have like a robotics playlist just full of just like movie soundtracks, and it kind of just like, it's like team culture, and it made it really fun. Everyone genuinely liked each other, and then we'd have like sleepovers, because we just work really late, and then we'd be like, yeah, just sleep over. And then so we'd have sleepovers, and then it was just fun. It was exciting, and that's why everyone wanted to do robotics on my team, and everyone really wanted to commit themselves really hard, because it was just enjoyable to do it, and they'd rather be doing that than anything else. That's my spiel about robotics. I'll probably make an update video about this, because like, these thoughts aren't that formalized, and I could probably waffle a lot better if I had better notes. But hey, that's kind of my advice to any kind of young budding robotics people. Anyways, I got a comp next week. I think I'm gonna get first. But yeah, bro, this PCB looking beautiful. Oh yeah, it's really not gonna focus. Anyways, yeah, this PCB looking beautiful. Can't believe I designed that one. But yeah, that's beautiful. The new robot's gonna be beautiful. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel. Anyways, hope you gained some kind of knowledge from it. Just trying to keep this YouTube thing consistent, honestly. Anyways, outro. My name is HughFan, 16-year-old. Just trying to do something cool with my life, and trying to stack skills and knowledge right now. If you vibe with this parasocial conversation we had, hit me up on Instagram or LinkedIn. And with that said, I'm going to bed now. Good night.